What if Leia discovered Vader was her father first? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The stars streak past like rainfall as Princess Leia Organa's diplomatic transport drops out of hyperspace near Bothawi. She stands on the bridge, arms crossed, watching the peaceful planet rotate below. This mission should be straightforward. The Bothans have intelligence the rebellion desperately needs, and Leia's diplomatic credentials make her the perfect envoy. But something feels wrong. The hairs on the back of her neck stand up. That instinct that's kept her alive through 3 years of war, screaming a warning she can't quite name. Captain, run a full sensor sweep. Standard protocol. Your Highness, sensors are clear. No Imperial presence in the system. Then why do I feel like we're being watched? The words are barely out of her mouth when the first Star Destroyer materializes from behind Bothawi's moon. Then another. Then 3 more. They drop out of hyperspace in perfect formation, a trap springing shut with mechanical precision. Red alert! All hands to battle stations. Helm, emergency jump to light speed. We're being jammed, Captain. Hyperspace motivators won't engage. The bridge erupts into controlled chaos. Leia's mind races through options, calculating odds, searching for the play that will save her crew. Evasive maneuvers, full power to rear shields. Get me a firing solution on that lead destroyer. Captain, we can't fight 5-star destroyers with a diplomatic cruiser. We don't have a choice. We fight or we die. And I didn't survive Scarif and Hoth to die running. The ship shudders as turbolaser fire slams into their shields. Leia grips the railing, watching the tactical display as TIE fighters pour from the Star Destroyers like insects from a disturbed hive. Her crew is good, dodging and weaving, managing to take out 3 TIE fighters before the swarm surrounds them, but it's not enough. It's never enough against the Empire's might. Another impact rocks the ship. Sparks fly from control panels. An ensign screams as her station explodes, and Leia rushes to pull her to safety, her hands coming away bloody. The young woman's eyes are already glassy, life fading. Leia knows. That look, she's seen it too many times. Forward shields down to 20%. We've lost maneuvering thrusters. Life support is failing on decks 3 and 4. Leia forces herself to stand, to project calm, even as everything crumbles around her. Seal off the damaged sections. Reroute all remaining power to engines. If we can break through their formation, we might make the planet's atmosphere before they can stop us. It's a desperate plan, but desperation is all they have left. The ship lurches forward, straining against the tractor beams trying to lock on. For a moment, just a moment, Leia thinks they might actually make it. Then, the view screen fills with the shadow of a super Star Destroyer. It's massive beyond comprehension, blotting out the stars themselves. And Leia knows, with absolute certainty, whose ship it is. Vader. The name falls from her lips like a curse. The Executor's tractor beams catch them like a child catching a butterfly. No amount of power, no amount of skill can break that grip. The diplomatic transport is dragged inexorably toward the Super Star Destroyer's main hangar. And all Leia can do is watch, prepare for boarding. All personnel, arm yourselves. We may be captured, but we'll make them pay for every step. The crew scrambles to defensive positions, blasters drawn, faces set with the determination of people who know they're already dead. Leia checks her own blaster, the weight familiar and comforting in her hand. She's faced Imperial boarding parties before, faced torture, interrogation, the destruction of her entire world. What's one more nightmare? The ship shudders as docking clamps engage. For a moment, there's silence. The kind of silence that exists before a storm. Then the boarding ramp explodes inward in a shower of sparks and molten metal. Stormtroopers flood through, their white armor stark against the smoke. Blaster fire erupts. Two of Leia's security team drop immediately, armor-piercing rounds finding their marks. Another trooper takes a hit and goes down, but three more take his place. Leia fires methodically, professionally, each shot placed with the precision of someone trained by the best soldiers in the rebellion. She drops one stormtrooper, then another, but it's like trying to hold back the tide with her bare hands. A stun blast catches her in the shoulder. Pain explodes through her arm and she stumbles, her blaster clattering to the deck. Strong hands grab her before she can fall, hauling her upright. Through the haze of pain, she sees her captain fighting desperately, sees her crew being overwhelmed, sees everything falling apart. Lord Vader requests the princess be brought to him unharmed. The stormtrooper's words cut through the chaos like a blade. This isn't a random capture. This isn't about the ship or the mission. This is about her. Vader wants her specifically. The question is why. They drag her through the corridors of the Executor, past endless rows of machinery and personnel who won't meet her eyes. Everyone on this ship knows what happens to prisoners who interest Vader personally. Most don't survive. The ones who do wish they hadn't. The chamber they bring her to is massive and dark, lit only by the faint glow of the viewport, showing the stars beyond. In the center of that darkness stands Darth Vader, his back to her, hands clasped behind him, in a pose that almost seems contemplative. The door hisses shut behind her. They're alone. Leia forces herself to stand straight, despite the pain in her shoulder, despite the exhaustion weighing her down. She's faced this monster before. She can do it again. I should have known you'd hide behind your fleet, Vader. What's the matter? Afraid to face the rebellion yourself? Vader doesn't turn immediately. Watch when he speaks. His mechanized voice fills the chamber like the voice of death itself. Your defiance is noted, Princess. It is one of your most predictable qualities. Predictable? You kidnapped me, brought me here against my will. You want to talk about predictable? I brought you here because we have much to discuss. Things that cannot be said over subspace channels. Things that will change everything you believe you know about yourself. Leia's jaw tightens. More mind games. More Imperial manipulation. If you're going to torture me for information, just get on with it. I've been through your worst before. I survived it then. I'll survive it now. This is not about torture. This is not about the rebellion or your petty war against the Empire. This is about truth, about family, about blood. Vader finally turns, and even through the mask, Leia can feel his eyes on her, studying her, measuring her, seeing something she doesn't understand. You have grown since our last encounter. Stronger, more capable. You would have made an excellent senator in better times. I don't need your compliments. I need you to explain why I'm here or let me go. Letting you go is precisely what I intend to do. But first, you must understand who you are, what you are. Leia's stomach tightens. There's something in his voice, something beneath the mechanical distortion that sounds almost like pain. What are you talking about? You know nothing of your origins. Princess, the Organas were good people, loving parents. But they were not your birth parents. You were hidden from me, stolen as an infant, raised in secret to keep you from your true heritage. My true heritage? I'm Alderaanian. My parents died when your Death Star destroyed my world. You destroyed my heritage, Vader. Don't pretend you care about it now. The Organas were your adopted parents. Your birth mother was Padme Amidala, Senator of Naboo, the most beautiful, the most brilliant woman in the galaxy. And she died bringing you into this world. Leia's breath catches. Padme Amidala. She knows the name. Everyone in the rebellion knows it. The senator who stood against Palpatine in the last days of the Republic. The woman who died under mysterious circumstances, just as the Empire rose to power. But that doesn't make sense. That can't be right. You're lying. Why would you lie about something so easily disproven? To break you, to manipulate you, because that's what you do. No, I tell you this because you deserve to know, because I have searched for you for years, and now that I have found you, I will not lose you again. Vader's hand moves to his helmet. Leia tenses, every muscle in her body screaming at her to run, to fight, to do something. But there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You will see me as I am. You will know the truth of our bond. The helmet lifts away with a hiss of escaping pressure, and Leia sees his face. She expects a monster, expects something inhuman, something that would explain the evil he's done. Instead, she sees a man. His face is pale, scarred by burns that twist his features. His eyes burn with an unnatural yellow light. But beneath the damage, beneath the corruption, she sees something that makes her blood run cold. She sees herself, the shape of his jaw, the set of his eyes, the way his brow furrows when he speaks. It's like looking in a distorted mirror, seeing a reflection of what she might become if she walked his path. No, the word comes out as barely a whisper. Vader steps closer. His voice, without the mask, is rough and damaged, but undeniably human. I am Anakin Skywalker. I was a Jedi Knight, hero of the Republic, husband to your mother, and I am your father. Leia. The world tilts. Leia's mind races through everything she knows, everything she's believed, searching for the lie, the manipulation, the trick. But it's not there. Deep down, in a place she's never wanted to acknowledge, she feels the truth of it, the connection she's never understood, the dreams she's had of a beautiful woman dying, whispering words of love, the sense of incompleteness that's followed her all her life. Your mother bore twins, a boy and a girl. You and your brother were separated to keep you safe from the Emperor, from me. I had fallen by then, consumed by the dark side. Obi-Wan Kenobi took your brother to Tatooine. Bail Organa took you to Alderaan. And I believed you were dead. I believed I had killed you along with your mother, my brother. Leia's voice sounds distant to her own ears. Luke Skywalker. Yes, He has already learned this truth. He knows what I am, what he comes from. But he believes I can be redeemed. He believes in the fantasy of the Jedi, that anyone can be saved. You are wiser than that, Leia. You understand that power is what matters. That strength is what shapes the galaxy. Something hot and terrible rises in Leia's chest. Rage, pure and undiluted, floods through her veins like fire. You destroyed Alderaan. You tortured me on the Death Star. You froze Han Solo in carbonite and handed him to Jabba the Hutt like a piece of cargo. You've murdered billions, enslaved entire systems, and crushed the life out of anyone who stood against your empire. And now you want me to call you father? I was following orders. Orders you gave yourself. Don't you dare pretend you're just a soldier following commands. You're the Emperor's right hand. You're the butcher who turned the galaxy into a prison. Everything I've done to bring order. The Republic was corrupt. The Jedi were failures. They let political concerns blind them to the truth. I tried to save them. I tried to save everyone. And you became a monster. Is that what you want from me? To follow in your footsteps? To become another tool of the Empire? Vader's expression shifts. For a moment, something like pain flickers across his scarred features. I want you to be strong. The Emperor has foreseen that your brother will come for me. He will try to turn me back to the Jedi teachings, to weakness and blind faith in the Force. But you, Leia, you are different. You understand what real power means. You've seen the weakness of the rebellion. You've watched them squabble and argue while worlds burn. Leia's voice drops to a deadly quiet. The rebellion fights for freedom, for justice, for the right of people to live without fear. I don't need political speeches. I need you to open your eyes. The rebellion cannot win. The Empire is too strong, too organized. But together, you and I could change that. We could overthrow the Emperor, rule in his place, bring true order to the galaxy. A benevolent order, where the strong protect the weak instead of exploiting them. Father and daughter, side by side, making the galaxy into what it should be. Leia stares at him, and for just a moment, just a heartbeat, she sees the appeal. She thinks about all the times she's argued with Mon Mothma over strategy, all the times she's watched the Senate waste precious hours debating while people died, all the times she's wished she had the power to simply fix things, to make the right choice without having to convince 1,000 politicians first. Then she thinks about Bail Organa, the man who raised her, the man who taught her that leadership meant service, not domination. That power, without accountability, was tyranny. That freedom, messy and complicated as it was worth any price. She thinks about Alderaan, about the billions of voices silenced because Vader wanted to break her spirit, about the children who died without ever knowing why, about the families torn apart, the futures stolen, the dreams crushed under the Empire's boot. And she knows exactly what her answer is. Leia steps forward, close enough that she can see the broken veins in Vader's eyes, the scar tissue that mars his face, close enough that when she speaks, he cannot possibly misunderstand. I would rather die than be your daughter, she spits in his face. For a moment, time seems to freeze. Vader stands perfectly still, saliva running down his scarred cheek. Then, slowly, he wipes his face with the back of his hand. When he replaces his helmet, the hiss of the seals engaging sounds like a death sentence. Then you will remain here until you see reason. I had hoped you would understand immediately, that you would see the logic of my offer. But you are young, impetuous. Time will change your perspective. Take her to the detention level, not the standard cells. She is to be kept in the VIP quarters, comfortable, isolated. Give her time to think about what could be. Stormtroopers enter and grab Leia's arms. She doesn't fight them. Not yet. She's learned something valuable today. Something that might be the key to everything. Vader wants her alive. Vader wants her turned. That means she has leverage. She just needs to find a way to use it. The quarters they take her to are indeed comfortable, a far cry from the detention cell she occupied on the Death Star. There's a bed, a refresher unit, even a viewport showing the stars. But the door is sealed with a lock that won't respond to anything she tries. She's trapped. For the first hour, Leia paces like a caged animal, her mind working through possibilities. She could try to override the lock, but without tools, that's impossible. She could wait for a guard and try to overpower them. But stormtroopers travel in pairs, and she's unarmed. She could try to signal the rebellion, but there's no communications equipment in the room. No. She needs to think like a politician, not a soldier. Vader wants something from her. He wants her cooperation, her allegiance. That means he'll come back. And when he does, she needs to be ready to manipulate him right back. But that thought leads her to a darker place. She sits on the bed, her hands shaking, and finally lets herself process what just happened. Darth Vader is her father. The man who destroyed everything she loved shares her blood. The man whose name is synonymous with evil gave her life. And somewhere out there, Luke Skywalker, her friend and fellow rebel, is her brother, her twin brother. How had she not seen it? How had she not felt it? The thought of Luke brings a strange sensation, like pulling on a thread she's never noticed before. And suddenly, for just a moment, she feels him, distant, worried, reaching out for something he can't quite name. The sensation terrifies her, and she slams her mental walls back up, shutting out that feeling of connection. That night, Leia doesn't sleep. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Vader's face, sees her own features reflected in his, sees the path she could walk if she's not careful. She sees Alderaan burning, but now she wonders if somewhere in that destruction was a man who thought he was doing the right thing. The thought makes her sick. The next day, an officer brings her food. He's young, nervous, clearly uncomfortable with his assignment. She is to be treated well. Lord Vader's orders. What does Vader want from me? I'm not authorized to discuss that, Your Highness. But if I may speak candidly. Leia nods. Whatever you believe about Lord Vader, he's never shown this kind of interest in a prisoner before. He's visited this corridor 3 times since you arrived. Just standing outside your door. I think he actually cares about you. That should worry you more than any torture. The officer leaves, and Leia is alone with that disturbing thought. Vader cares. The monster who burned her world, who tortured her, who represents everything evil in the galaxy, cares about her because she's his daughter. The psychological warfare is more sophisticated than she expected. Over the next 2 days, Leia learns the rhythms of her captivity. Meals arrive at regular intervals. The lights dim at night and brighten in the morning. And every so often, she feels Vader's presence nearby, a cold weight in the Force that makes her skin crawl. She doesn't see him, but she knows he's there, watching, waiting, hoping she'll break. On the third day, she wakes with a plan. It's risky, possibly suicidal, but it's the only option she can see. She's noticed the patrol patterns. She's identified which officers are true believers and which are just following orders. And she's remembered something important. She's Princess Leia Organa. She's talked her way out of worse situations than this. When Lieutenant Goran arrives with her evening meal, she's ready. "Lieutenant, I need to speak with someone in command about my diplomatic status." "You're a prisoner, Your Highness. You don't have diplomatic status here. The Empire doesn't recognize the rebellion's legitimacy. But Lord Vader hasn't officially charged me with anything. I was traveling under legitimate diplomatic credentials to a neutral world. By Imperial law, I'm entitled to contact my government or be released within 72 standard hours." Lieutenant Goran shifts uncomfortably. "That's not my decision to make." "Then find someone whose decision it is, unless you want to explain to Lord Vader why you denied his daughter her legal rights under Imperial law." The words hang in the air. Goran's face goes pale. "You know. Of course I know. Do you think Vader told me to hide it from me? He wants me to understand what I am, what I could become. And right now, I could become very interested in remembering every officer who helped or hindered me during this experience. It's a bluff, but it works." Goran stammers an excuse and retreats, and Leia knows she set something in motion. What she doesn't expect is for the motion to be set so quickly. 2 hours later, her door opens and an officer she doesn't recognize enters. He's older, with gray at his temples and the bearing of someone used to command. "Princess Leia, I am Commander Talvon. I've been assigned to investigate your situation." Leia stands, keeping her posture regal despite her rumpled clothes. "Commander, I appreciate your attention to proper protocol. I'm sure you understand my concern about being held without charges or communication with my government. I understand many things, Your Highness, including that you've put young Lieutenant Goran in a very difficult position. Lord Vader has made it clear that you are not to be mistreated, but he has also made it clear that you are not to be released. I'm simply asking for clarification of my status. Am I a prisoner of war, a political hostage, a guest? Because right now, I'm in legal limbo, which serves no one's interests." Talvon studies her with sharp eyes. "You're playing a dangerous game. I'm playing the only game available to me. Look, Commander, I know you're a professional. I know you follow the chain of command. But I also know that even the Empire has laws, has procedures, and right now, those procedures are being violated. That should concern you. Why should I care about your concerns? Because eventually, this situation will become public. The rebellion knows I was captured. They know Vader took me. When they find out I was held without charges, without trial, in violation of Imperial law, it becomes propaganda. And propaganda can lose you systems, Commander. Can make fence-sitters join the rebellion. Is that what you want?" Talvon's expression doesn't change, but Leia sees the calculation in his eyes. He's thinking about his career, about the political implications, about how this could blow back on him. Good. She's gotten under his skin. I'll review your case with Lord Vader. That's all I can promise. That's all I ask. Talvon leaves, and Leia sits back on the bed, her heart hammering. It's a long shot, but she's created a bureaucratic mess. Something that will require attention, require decisions. And in that confusion, maybe she can find an opening. She doesn't have to wait long. That night, Vader enters her quarters without warning. The door simply opens, and he's there, filling the doorway like a nightmare made flesh. Leia forces herself to stand calmly, to meet that masked gaze without flinching. Come to check on your prisoner? You have been busy, causing trouble for my officers, creating legal complications. I am attempting to have my legal rights respected. Your rights were forfeit when you joined a terrorist organization dedicated to overthrowing lawful government. Lawful? You murdered the Senate. Palpatine dissolved the Senate. I merely stood by and watched. Does that make you feel better? Absolved of responsibility because you were just following orders? Vader steps into the room and the door closes behind him. In the confined space, his presence is overwhelming. You seek to anger me, to make me react emotionally. It is a transparent tactic. Maybe, or maybe, I'm just telling the truth. That's something you've probably forgotten how to do. I know more truth than you can possibly imagine. I have walked through the fires of betrayal. I have seen the republic I served fall into corruption and decay. I have watched the Jedi. I called brothers become blind to the suffering around them. I have held the woman I loved as she died, killed by my own actions. Don't lecture me about truth, girl. Then answer me truthfully. What do you want from me? Vader is silent for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is quieter, almost contemplative. I want you to understand, to see that the path I walk, however dark it may seem, leads to order, to peace, to a galaxy where the strong protect the weak instead of allowing chaos to reign. The Empire has brought stability to 1,000 worlds, at the cost of freedom, at the cost of millions of lives. Freedom is an illusion. There is only power, and those too weak to seek it. You sound like Palpatine. Do you even have your own thoughts anymore? Or are you just mouthing his philosophy? Vader's hand clenches into a fist. Be careful, daughter. My patience has limits. I'm not your daughter. Not in any way that matters. Bail Organa was my father. He taught me what it means to lead, what it means to sacrifice for others, what it means to stand up for what's right, even when it costs everything. He was a better man than you'll ever be. Bail Organa was a fool who died for nothing. Don't you dare talk about him. Leia's voice rises, all her careful control shattering. He was worth 1,000 of you. He saved lives while you destroyed them. He built while you burned. And yes, he died. But he died free. He died fighting for something that mattered. What will you die for, Vader? What will anyone remember you for except terror and pain? For the first time, Vader seems at a loss for words. They stand in silence, the weight of Leia's accusation hanging between them. Then Vader turns toward the door. You will remain here until you see reason. Food will be provided. Exercise periods will be arranged. But you will not leave this room until you accept your place. And if I never accept it, then you will be here a very long time. Vader leaves, and Leia collapses onto the bed, shaking with anger and fear and a terrible, gnawing doubt. What if he's right? What if the rebellion can't win? What if she's throwing her life away for a cause that's already lost? No, she can't think like that. Can't let him get into her head. She survived the Death Star. She survived Hoth. She'll survive this. That night, she dreams. In the dream, she's standing in a beautiful apartment on a city world she's never seen. A woman sits nearby, heavily pregnant, her face serene and sad all at once. The woman is beautiful, with brown hair and kind eyes. Eyes that look like Leia's own. Leia? The woman seems surprised. You shouldn't be here. This is just a memory. Who are you? The woman smiles. I'm your mother, Leia. I'm Padme. The name sends a shock through Leia's system. This is a dream. Just a dream brought on by stress and Vader's manipulation. Perhaps, or perhaps the Force is showing you what you need to see. You were inside me when I stood in this room. You and your brother, growing, waiting to be born. I loved you both so much, even though I knew I wouldn't get to raise you. Leia wants to run, to wake up, to escape this manipulation. But the woman's face is so kind, so genuinely warm, that she can't make herself move. Did you love him? Anakin? Vader? Did you really love the monster he became? Padme's expression turns sad. I loved Anakin Skywalker with all my heart. He was brave and kind and passionate. He wanted to save everyone, to fix every injustice. That's what drew me to him. But he was also afraid. Afraid of loss, afraid of helplessness, afraid of failing the people he loved. And that fear consumed him. He loved you so much he destroyed everything. That's not love. It was love that broke. Love that curdled into possession and control. I've thought about it a lot. In the time between life and death, I wonder if I'd seen the signs earlier, if I'd been stronger, if things could have been different. But I was afraid too. Afraid of losing him, afraid of being alone. And that fear blinded me until it was too late. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to know that love alone isn't enough. Love without wisdom, without boundaries, without respect, can become the most destructive force in the galaxy. Don't make my mistakes, Leia. Don't let love blind you to what's right. Leia wakes with tears on her cheeks. She doesn't know if it was really her mother's spirit or just her own mind working through trauma. But the message resonates. She thinks about Han, about her feelings for him, about how she's pushed him away, because she's afraid of what might happen if she lets herself care too much. Maybe her mother's mistakes taught her something after all. On the fourth morning of her captivity, Leia wakes to find her door unlocked. Not open, but unlocked. She approaches it cautiously, expecting a trap. But when she presses the panel, it slides open to reveal an empty corridor. For a moment, she just stands there, confused. Then she understands. Vader is testing her, seeing what she'll do with freedom. Will she try to escape? Try to sabotage the ship? Or will she prove his point, that there's nowhere for her to go? Well, she's not about to make it easy for him. Leia steps into the corridor, moving quietly, staying alert. There are no guards in sight, which is suspicious in itself. She makes her way toward where she remembers the hangar bays being. But every turn brings her to locked doors or corridors that circle back on themselves. The ship is a maze, and she's being herded. Finally, she reaches a viewport overlooking one of the hangar bays. And there, sitting in a docking berth, is a small shuttle, not an Imperial model. A civilian yacht of the type used by diplomats and merchants. The kind of ship that could easily slip away from the fleet if it had the right clearance codes. It's too convenient, too perfect. This is definitely a trap, but it might also be her only chance. Leia makes her way down to the hangar level, expecting to be stopped at any moment, but the corridors remain empty, as if the entire ship has been cleared just to see what she'll do. When she reaches the hangar itself, she finds a single officer waiting by the shuttle. "It's Commander Talvon. I've been instructed to offer you a choice, Your Highness." Choice? From Vader? This shuttle has clearance to leave the Executor. It has enough fuel to reach any neutral system within 5 parsecs. The access codes are in the computer, and there are no tracking devices. You can leave. Just like that? Just like that. Lord Vader believes you will return to him when you're ready. That given time to experience the futility of the rebellion's cause, you'll come to understand his perspective. And if I don't, then he's misjudged you. And I suspect he doesn't misjudge people often. Leia studies Talvon's face, looking for the lie, the trick. But he seems genuine. This is really happening. Why are you helping me? I'm following orders. But between you and me, I have a daughter about your age. If she were in your situation, I'd want someone to give her a way out. Even if it cost me my commission, I'd want her to have a chance. Leia nods slowly. "Thank you, Commander. For whatever it's worth, I'll remember this." She boards the shuttle, her hands moving over the controls with practiced ease. The engines hum to life. And true to Talvon's word, the hangar bay doors open without resistance. She pilots the small craft out into space, expecting TIE fighters to intercept her at any moment. But they don't come. The Executor just sits there, watching her go. As Leia makes the jump to hyperspace, she looks back at the massive ship one last time. Somewhere inside, Vader is watching her leave. And she knows with absolute certainty that this isn't over. He's let her go because he believes she'll come back. He believes that eventually she'll see he's right. She'll prove him wrong if it's the last thing she does. 3 days later, Leia's shuttle drops out of hyperspace near the Rebel fleet's staging area in the Sullust system. The sight of the Mon Calamari cruisers and the mismatched collection of Rebel ships brings tears to her eyes. Home. She's home. Her shuttle is immediately challenged by patrol craft, but her codes check out and she's cleared for landing on Home 1, Admiral Akbar's flagship. As the ship sets down in the hangar, Leia sees a reception committee waiting. Mon Mothma, her face lined with worry. Admiral Akbar, his large eyes showing relief. And a protocol droid that could only be C-3PO, fussing and fretting. "Princess Leia! Oh! Thank the Maker you're alive! We feared the worst when your ship was captured." 3PO, "It's good to see you too. Where's R2? R2-D2 is currently aboard a transport ship heading to the Outer Rim. Master Luke insisted he accompany him on some sort of Jedi business. Luke. The name sends a complicated swirl of emotions through Leia. Her brother. How is she supposed to tell him what she's learned? Mon Mothma steps forward, taking Leia's hands. We need to debrief you immediately. The council is waiting. Can I at least clean up first? I've been wearing these clothes for 4 days. Of course. But Leia, there are urgent matters. The Bothans managed to send intelligence despite your capture. We may have found the location of the second Death Star. That can wait an hour. Right now, I need a shower, fresh clothes, and something that isn't Imperial ration paste. Mon Mothma nods, understanding. An hour then. My quarters. 45 minutes later, Leia stands in front of Mon Mothma's door. Cleaner, but no more prepared for what she has to say. She knows she should tell Mon Mothma everything, should share the intelligence about Vader's offer, his strange behavior, the fact that he let her escape. But there's one piece of information that sticks in her throat, that she can't quite bring herself to say aloud. She's Vader's daughter. The door opens and Leia steps inside. Mon Mothma pours 2 glasses of wine, a rare luxury in the rebel fleet. Leia takes hers but doesn't drink. She's not sure she could keep it down. Tell me everything. Start from when you dropped out of hyperspace at Botha We. Leia recounts the battle, the capture, being brought before Vader. She describes the detention in careful, clinical terms. But when she reaches the part about the revelation, the words stick in her throat. He told me something. Something about my past. Mon Mothma leans forward. What did he tell you? That Bail and Breha Organa weren't my biological parents. That my birth mother was Padme Amidala. And that my father, Leia's voice breaks. My father is Anakin Skywalker, the man who became Darth Vader. The silence that follows is deafening. Mon Mothma's face goes pale, her hand tightening around her wineglass until Leia worries it might shatter. Padme Amidala. I knew her. She was one of the finest people I ever met. If she had children, she would have hidden them, protected them from what Anakin became. You believe it's true, don't you? Search your feelings, Mon Mothma. Look at me and tell me you don't see it. The age fits, the timing fits, and there's more. Vader said I have a brother, a twin, Luke Skywalker. Mon Mothma stands abruptly, pacing to the viewport. This changes everything. It explains things I never understood. Why Vader seems so focused on capturing Luke. Why the Emperor has shown such interest in him. They're not just hunting a promising young Jedi. They're hunting family. And if they know about Luke, they know about me. Vader made that clear. He wants us both. He thinks we can overthrow the Emperor together and rule the galaxy as a family. What did you tell him? I told him I'd rather die than be his daughter. And then I spit in his face. Mon Mothma almost smiles at that. Then she sobers. Leia, you understand what this means. If the Alliance learns that one of its leaders is Vader's daughter, there will be panic, fear, suspicion. Everything you've built, all the trust you've earned, could evaporate overnight. I know. That's why I'm telling you first. Before I decide what to do next, I need your counsel. Do I tell the council? Do I tell Luke? Do I keep it secret and pray no one ever finds out? Mon Mothma returns to her seat, her expression troubled. In an ideal world, I would say tell everyone immediately. Honesty is the foundation of any legitimate government. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in a galaxy at war, where perception matters as much as reality. If you come forward now, while we're preparing our assault on the Death Star, it could undermine everything. So you want me to lie? I want you to be strategic. There's a difference. The mission comes first. Once we've dealt with the Death Star, once the Empire is broken, and we're building the new Republic, then you can reveal your heritage. When you're in a position of unquestioned authority, it won't matter as much. And if someone else reveals it first, if Vader decides to make it public, then we deal with that crisis when it comes. But forcing that crisis now, when we're so close to victory, would be a tactical mistake. Leia wants to argue, but the political calculation makes sense. And yet it feels wrong. Like she's ashamed of something she had no control over. I'm tired of secrets, Mon Mothma. I'm tired of hiding and pretending. This is who I am, for better or worse. And I'm not sure I can keep lying to people I care about. I'm not asking you to lie. I'm asking you to be selective about timing. Tell Luke. Tell people you trust absolutely. But keep it contained until the right moment. Can you do that? Leia thinks about it. Thinks about Han's reaction, about how the other rebel leaders might respond. And she realizes Mon Mothma is right. Much as she hates it, the older woman is right. For now, but after we destroy the Death Star, I go public. Win or lose, I tell the truth. People deserve to know who they're following. Agreed. Mon Mothma extends her hand, and Leia shakes it. The pact is made. Now, tell me how you escaped. That shuttle had full clearance codes. No trackers that we could detect. Commander Talvon gave them to me under Vader's orders. It wasn't an escape. It was a release. Vader let me go. Why? Because he thinks I'll come back to him. He thinks that once I see how hard this fight is, how many people are dying, I'll decide his way is better. He's giving me rope, hoping I'll hang the rebellion with it. And will you? Leia meets Mon Mothma's eyes. I die first. Good. Because we need you. Leia, now more than ever, the Bothan intelligence suggests the Emperor himself will be overseeing the Death Star's completion. If we can strike while he's there, we might be able to end this war in one decisive battle. Then let's end it. I've had enough of running, enough of hiding, enough of watching people I care about suffer. It's time to take the fight to them. Over the next week, Leia throws herself into mission planning. She works 16-hour days, coordinating with Admiral Akbar on fleet movements, with General Medine on ground assault tactics, with intelligence officers on identifying Imperial weak points. It's exhausting work, but she welcomes the distraction. When she's planning operations, she doesn't have time to think about Vader's words, about the blood that flows through her veins, about the darkness that might be waiting inside her. But the thought of Luke keeps intruding. She needs to tell him, needs to see his face when he learns they're siblings. But Luke is weeks away, completing some sort of Force Vision quest in the Outer Rim. She sends him a message asking him to return urgently. But subspace communication is unreliable in the sectors he's exploring. All she can do is wait. The wait ends when a battered X-Wing drops out of hyperspace and requests emergency landing clearance. Leia is in a strategy meeting when she feels something. A pulling sensation, like a thread connecting her to something distant, suddenly pulled taut. She's on her feet before she consciously realizes what it means. Luke is back. She runs to the hangar bay, not caring about protocol or dignity. When the canopy opens and Luke climbs out, looking tired and weathered and older than his years, she doesn't think. She just throws her arms around him. Leia, what's wrong? Did something happen? Luke, we need to talk. In private. Now. Luke's expression turns serious. He's learned to trust her instincts over the past 3 years. They retrieve to her quarters. And once the door is sealed, Leia finds herself at a loss for words. How do you tell someone their entire understanding of themselves is wrong? You're scaring me, Leia. Whatever it is, just say it. I was captured by Vader. I know. Your message said you escaped. What happened? He told me things about my past, about yours, about who we really are. Leia takes a deep breath. Luke, do you remember how you told me Vader said he was your father? How you weren't sure whether to believe him? I remember. You said it didn't matter who my father was, that I got to choose who I wanted to be. I was wrong. It does matter, because your father, our father, is Darth Vader. Luke goes very still. Say that again. We're twins, Luke. Brother and sister. We were separated as infants and hidden from Vader because he'd fallen to the dark side. Obi-Wan took you to Tatooine. Bail Organa took me to Alderaan. And our mother was Padme Amidala. She died, giving birth to us. Luke sits down heavily, his face pale. I felt it. On Bespin, when Vader told me the truth, I felt this connection to something, someone, a presence I couldn't name. That was you. That was our bond as twins. For a long moment, Luke says nothing. Then he starts to laugh. It's not a happy sound. It's the laugh of someone who's had one too many impossible revelations and can't process anymore. We're family. You and me. We've been fighting side by side for years and didn't know we were family. Does Han know? Not yet. I wanted to tell you first. And you're sure? Vader could be lying. I saw his face, Luke. He took off his mask, and I saw him. And I saw myself in his features. I saw you. There's no lie that deep. He's really our father. Luke nods slowly, processing. So when he said there is another, he meant you. The Emperor knows about us both. And what did you tell him when he offered to let you join him? I told him I'd rather die. That's my sister. But Luke's smile fades quickly. If they know about both of us, they'll try to use us against each other, try to make us fight, or turn one of us to get to the other. Then we don't let them. We stick together, watch each other's backs, and make sure neither of us falls into their trap. Luke stands, and Leia sees something new in his eyes, a determination that wasn't there before. I need to tell you something too, something I learned in my travels. I met a Jedi Master, a survivor of the Purge. He told me about Force bonds, connections between people that transcend normal relationships. Twins especially can form bonds so strong that they share thoughts, feelings, even abilities. I think that's what we have. I've been feeling you for days now. Your anger, your fear, even when I didn't understand what I was sensing. Leia thinks back to that moment on the Executor when she reached out and felt Luke's distant presence, when she felt that connection and slammed her walls back up, afraid of what it meant. Can you teach me? Teach you what? To use the Force, to understand this connection. If we're going to face Vader and the Emperor, I need every advantage I can get. And if this bond makes us stronger together, then I need to know how to use it. Luke hesitates. The Force isn't a weapon, Leia. It's not something you just learn to manipulate. I'm not asking to be a Jedi. I'm asking you to help me understand a part of myself that I've been ignoring. Luke, please, I need this. All right, but I'm not a teacher. I barely understand this myself. We'll figure it out together. Over the next 2 weeks, Luke and Leia train in the unused cargo bay that's become Luke's makeshift meditation space. At first, it's awkward. Leia is used to action, to doing things, and the quiet stillness of meditation chafes at her. But Luke is patient, guiding her through breathing exercises, through sensing exercises, through the fundamental building blocks of connecting to the Force. The first time Leia actually feels it, really feels the Force flowing around her, it's overwhelming. It's like seeing color for the first time, like discovering a whole new sense she never knew existed. The entire universe seems to pulse with energy, with life, with connections between all living things. And right at the center of her awareness, burning bright as a sun, is Luke. Not his physical presence, but his essence, his hope, his determination, his unwavering belief that people can be better than they are. It's beautiful and terrifying all at once. Luke, I can feel you. I know. I can feel you too. Your strength, your anger, your refusal to give up even when everything seems hopeless. We really are connected, stronger than I imagined. Over time, they learn to use that connection, to communicate without words, sharing images and feelings through their bond, to sense when the other is in danger or distress, to lend strength when one of them is flagging. It's not the formal Jedi training Luke received, but it's something uniquely theirs. A twin bond forged in war and loss and the desperate need to protect each other. One evening, after a particularly intense training session, they sit together in the cargo bay, exhausted but satisfied. Luke, what do you think would have happened if we'd been raised together? If we'd known from the beginning that we were twins? I think about that sometimes, wonder who we would have been. I think we'd be the same people. Maybe a bit less lonely, but fundamentally the same. You'd still be the brave princess fighting for justice. I'd still be the farm boy dreaming of adventure. And we'd still drive each other crazy. Leia laughs. Probably true. But I wish I'd known you earlier. Wish I'd had a brother growing up. Me too. But we have each other now. That's what matters. The moment of peace is shattered when Han Solo walks into the cargo bay. He stops short, seeing them sitting close together, and his expression shifts to something complicated. Am I interrupting something? Han. Leia jumps to her feet, suddenly aware of how this might look. We were just training. Han's eyes narrow. Training. Right. Because sitting cross-legged and staring at each other is definitely training. It's Jedi stuff. Force stuff. You wouldn't understand. Try me. Luke and I are twins, brother and sister. We're learning to use our Force bond to communicate better. The words come out in a rush, and Leia watches Han's face cycle through confusion, shock, understanding, and finally relief. Your siblings? Yeah. Surprise. And Vader? He's our father. Both of us. That's why Leia was captured. He wanted to recruit her, just like he tried to recruit me. Leia adds. He thinks we can overthrow the Emperor together and rule as a family. She spits in his face, naturally, because she's the most stubborn woman in the galaxy. Han crosses his arms. So when were you planning to tell me? I was going to tell you. I just needed to tell Luke first. It felt important that he know before anyone else. Han's expression softens slightly. I get it. Family first. But for the record, I would have liked to know that the woman I love is the daughter of the guy who froze me in carbonite. The woman you love? Did I say that out loud? Yeah, you did. And for the record, the woman who loves you back would really appreciate it if you'd stop being such a scruffy-looking nerf herder and come here. Han grins, and Leia closes the distance between them. When they kiss, it feels like coming home, like finding solid ground after being lost at sea. And when they break apart, Luke is politely staring at the ceiling, trying not to laugh. So, now that everyone's done being emotional, can we talk about the actual mission? Because I have some concerns about the assault plan. They spend the next several hours going over the details. The Death Star is being constructed above the forest moon of Endor. A shield generator on the surface protects it from orbital bombardment. Han will lead a strike team to destroy the generator. Lando will command the fighter squadrons attacking the station itself. And Luke trails off, and Leia sees the conflict in his eyes. What is it? I'm going to surrender to Vader. The words hang in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. You're going to what? Luke stands, pacing. Listen to me. The Emperor wants me. He's trying to turn me, to make me his apprentice. If I surrender, Vader will take me to him. And once I'm in the throne room, I might be able to reach my father, might be able to turn him back from the dark side. That's insane. That's suicide. Maybe, but it's also the only way I can see to end this. If Vader turns against the Emperor, the Empire collapses. All their power is built on fear of those two. Take them out, and everything falls apart. Han shakes his head. Kid, I appreciate the optimism, but you're talking about walking into the lion's den and hoping the lion suddenly decides to become vegetarian. I have to try. He's my father. Our father. There has to be some good left in him. Leia feels the anger rising in her chest. He destroyed Alderaan, Luke. He killed billions of people. He tortured me. There's no coming back from that. He saved me on the Executor. Let me go when he could have kept me prisoner. That has to mean something. It means he's manipulating you. He's using our bond, our biology, to make you think he's redeemable. But he's not. He's a monster who happens to share our DNA. That doesn't make him family. The twins stare at each other, and for the first time since learning they're siblings, real anger flashes between them. Han steps between them. Okay, both of you need to calm down. Luke, I think your plan is crazy. Leia, I think you're letting your anger cloud your judgment. We're supposed to be a team here. Leia takes a deep breath. Fine. Luke, if you're determined to do this, I won't stop you. But I'm coming with you. What? You said the Emperor wants you. Well, he wants me too. And 2 Skywalkers showing up on his doorstep might be enough to make Vader do something unpredictable. If there's any chance of turning him, it'll be when he sees both his children in danger. Absolutely not. I'm not letting you walk into that trap. You don't get to let me do anything. I'm coming, Luke. End of discussion. They argue for another hour. But eventually, Luke realizes he's not going to win. Leia is as stubborn as he is. And when she's made up her mind, nothing will change it. Fine. But we do this my way. I surrender myself openly. You infiltrate separately. Use your political connections to get aboard the Death Star. That way, if one of us gets captured, the other still has a chance to act. Agreed. And Han, you destroy that shield generator no matter what. Even if it means we're still on the Death Star when Lando makes his run. We're not risking the mission for us. Han's jaw tightens. I hate this plan. Everyone hates this plan. But it's the best shot we've got. The next few weeks pass in a blur of preparation. Han assembles his strike team, recruiting the best commandos the rebellion has to offer. Lando takes command of Gold Squadron. His natural charisma winning over pilots who might have questioned a former smuggler's authority, and Luke and Leia train together, pushing their force bond to its limits, learning to sense each other across vast distances. The night before they leave for Endor, Leia can't sleep. She stands in the observation deck, watching the stars, thinking about everything that's led to this moment. Tomorrow, she'll face Vader again, face the Emperor, and quite possibly die. She's made peace with that. What she hasn't made peace with is the possibility that Luke might be right, that somewhere inside Vader, underneath all the hatred and evil, there might still be a spark of the man their mother loved. Han finds her there, bringing 2 mugs of hot caf. Couldn't sleep either, too much to think about. He hands her a mug and stands beside her. For what it's worth, I think you and the kid are the bravest, craziest people I've ever met. And I've met a lot of crazy people. We learned from the best. Leia leans against him, drawing comfort from his solid presence. Han, if something happens to me tomorrow, if I don't make it back, I need you to know something. Don't do the goodbye speech. We're all making it back. That's not how this story ends. But if it does, you need to know that loving you has been the best part of the last 3 years. That even in the middle of this war, this nightmare, you made me feel like I could have something just for me. Something that wasn't about duty or sacrifice. You gave me joy, Han, and I'm grateful for that. Han sets down his mug and turns to face her. Leia, I love you. I've loved you since you told that Moff to shove it on the Death Star. I've loved you through every crazy plan, every impossible mission, every time you've scared me half to death with your bravery. And I'm not saying goodbye because you're coming back. We both are. And when this is over, when the Empire is dust and we're free, I'm going to marry you. Is that a proposal? That's a promise. Leia kisses him, and this time There's no desperation in it. Just love, pure and simple. A moment of peace in the eye of the storm. The next morning, the fleet gathers for the final briefing. Admiral Akbar goes over the plan one more time. General Madine details the ground assault, and Mon Mothma gives a speech about freedom and sacrifice that brings tears to more than a few eyes. When it's over, Leia, Luke, and Han stand together one last time. See you on the other side, kids. May the Force be with you, Han. The teams deploy. Han, Chewbacca, and the commandos take a stolen Imperial shuttle down to Endor's surface. Lando leads the fighter squadrons to their staging area, and Luke and Leia, in separate ships, make their way toward their own fates. Luke's approach is direct. He lands his X-Wing in an Imperial clearing and walks out with his hands raised, lightsaber prominently displayed. Imperial scouts surround him immediately, but Luke doesn't resist. I'm Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight. Take me to Darth Vader. On the other side of the forest, Leia uses forged credentials identifying her as an Imperial Senator's aide, sent to observe the Death Star's completion. Her shuttle passes through the checkpoints without incident, and soon she's aboard the massive battle station. She knows Luke can sense her presence just as she can sense his. They're on the same ship now, moving toward the same confrontation, but they'll arrive by different paths. In the forest, Luke is brought before Vader. They stand in a clearing, stormtroopers surrounding them, and Luke sees his father studying him. The presence is heavier than he remembers, darker, but underneath, Luke feels something else. Conflict, pain, regret. Father, I know there's still good in you. I've felt it. Vader's voice is cold. You are mistaken. There is no conflict. Yet the words ring hollow, and Luke knows he's gotten through, at least a little. I sense something else. Another presence. Luke smiles slightly. She's here too. Both your children have come to face you. Let's see if you can really walk away from that. On the Death Star, Leia makes her way through the corridors, following the path she's mapped from stolen schematics. She knows where the throne room is, knows that's where the Emperor will be waiting, and she knows that before long, Luke will be brought there too. She just needs to time her arrival perfectly. She passes through checkpoint after checkpoint, her forged credentials holding up perfectly. Everyone is too busy preparing for the coming battle to question one more bureaucrat. When she finally reaches the corridor outside the throne room, she finds a maintenance closet and slips inside to wait. Through her bond with Luke, she can feel him getting closer. Feel Vader's presence like a cold weight in the Force. And underneath it all, she feels something else. Something ancient and malevolent. The Emperor. The throne room doors open. Leia hears voices, feels the shift in the Force. As Luke enters Palpatine's presence, she waits, counting heartbeats, letting the scene play out. She knows the Emperor will gloat, will try to turn Luke against Vader, will reveal his trap, thinking he's already won. That's when she'll strike. Luke stands before the Emperor, Vader at his side. The ancient Sith Lord is even more terrifying in person than Luke imagined. His face is hidden under a dark hood, but his yellow eyes gleam with malicious intelligence. The throne room itself is a monument to arrogance, all black metal and harsh angles, with massive viewports showing the battle beginning to rage outside. Welcome, young Skywalker. I have been expecting you. You are here to prove you're a Jedi, to face your destiny. How predictable. How foolish. Luke's hand moves to his lightsaber, but he doesn't draw it. I'm not here to fight you, Emperor. I'm here to give my father a chance to come back to the light, to break free of your manipulation. Palpatine's laugh is like nails on glass, echoing through the chamber with unnatural resonance. Oh, how delightfully naive. Your father is gone, young one. There is only Darth Vader now, my most faithful servant, my greatest weapon. Isn't that right, Lord Vader? Yes, my master. But there's a hesitation in Vader's voice, a fracture in his certainty that wasn't there before. Luke feels it through the Force and presses forward, taking a step closer despite the danger. I don't believe that. I felt the conflict in you, Father. You let Leia go when you could have kept her prisoner forever. You showed mercy. That's not the action of someone fully consumed by darkness. That's the action of a man who still remembers what it means to love. The Emperor's eyes narrow, his gnarled fingers tightening on the armrests of his throne. Leia, yes, the troublesome girl, your twin sister. So she has told you our little family secret. How touching. How utterly pointless. Tell me, young Skywalker, where is your sister now? Surely you didn't come here alone. Surely you're not that foolish. Luke says nothing, but the Emperor sees the truth in his eyes, and his smile widens. She's here. Of course she's here. 2 for the price of 1. This is even better than I had foreseen in my visions. Do you really think you can hide from me, child? Do you think your feeble attempts at subterfuge can fool the Dark Lord of the Sith? Show yourself. The throne room doors explode inward, blown apart by shaped charges. Leia strides through the smoke, her blaster already drawn and aimed directly at Palpatine's withered head. Her face is set with determination, showing no fear despite standing before the most powerful being in the galaxy. Hello, Emperor. I've been looking forward to this meeting for a very long time. I believe you have something that belongs to me, my brother. And I'm not leaving without him. Palpatine's expression shifts from mild surprise to absolute delight, his yellow eyes gleaming with malicious joy. Magnificent. Both children of Skywalker, here before me, ready to die together. This is poetry. This is fate. Tell me, young princess, do you truly believe that primitive weapon in your hands can harm me? Do you think I've survived for decades by being vulnerable to something as crude as a blaster bolt? Only one way to find out. Leia pulls the trigger. The bolt screams through the air, aimed perfectly at the Emperor's heart, but it never arrives. The energy freezes in midair, suspended by Palpatine's outstretched hand, hanging there like a bright red jewel. The Emperor examines it with academic interest, turning his hand slightly to make the bolt rotate. Fascinating. Such hatred behind that shot. Such anger. You really do want me dead, don't you, child? Let me show you what I do with such gifts. He twists his fingers, and the energy redirects, hurtling toward Luke with twice its original speed. But Vader's lightsaber ignites with a snap hiss, the red blade intercepting the bolt and deflecting it harmlessly into the wall. The Dark Lord stands between the Emperor and his son, his breathing ragged through the mask. You will not harm him. I will not allow it. Palpatine leans back in his throne, steepling his fingers with evident satisfaction. "But what of your daughter, Lord Vader? Will you protect her as well? Or must you choose? Must you decide which child lives and which dies? How does a father make such a choice?" Vader's helmet turns from Luke to Leia, and in that moment of hesitation, Palpatine strikes. Blue-white lightning erupts from his fingertips, arcing across the throne room with terrible beauty. It catches Leia full in the chest and she screams, her body convulsing as the energy courses through every nerve. The blaster falls from her hands as she drops to her knees, smoke rising from her clothes. Poor child. So strong, so defiant, so utterly unprepared for true power. Luke rushes forward, his green lightsaber igniting as he charges toward the Emperor. But Vader moves with impossible speed, intercepting him, their blades clashing in a shower of sparks. Red and green energy crackle against each other, casting dancing shadows across the walls. "Please, Father, don't do this. I don't want to fight you. We shouldn't be enemies." "Then you will die, my son." Vader's voice is cold, mechanical, devoid of the warmth Luke desperately wants to hear. "The Emperor has foreseen your destiny. You will join us, or you will be destroyed. There is no other path." He presses the attack, his strikes powerful and relentless, each blow designed to kill. Luke defends desperately, his training barely enough to keep him alive. The red blade comes in high, then low, then from the side, an endless barrage that drives Luke back step by step. But his eyes keep darting to Leia, watching her writhe in agony under Palpatine's continuous assault. "No! Leia! Stop it! She's your daughter!" Through their bond, he can feel her pain, as if it were his own. Every nerve in her body is on fire, every cell screaming in protest. Her consciousness is starting to slip, darkness creeping in at the edges of her vision. She's dying. His sister is dying right in front of him, and there's nothing he can do. And in that moment of desperation, that moment when all hope seems lost, Luke does something he's never done before. He reaches through their bond, not just to sense Leia, but to touch her, to help her. He pushes his strength through that invisible connection, lending her his power, his endurance, his very life force. It costs him. The effort makes his arms shake, makes his defense falter. Vader's next strike nearly takes his head off. The red blade passing so close, Luke can feel the heat. But he holds on, keeps pushing energy to his sister, refusing to let her die. "I won't lose you. I won't lose anyone else I love. Hold on, Leia. Please, hold on." Leia gasps as Luke's strength flows into her like cool water on burning skin. She can feel him, feel his determination, feel his refusal to let her die. The lightning still tears through her body, but now she has the strength to endure it. And as her mind clears, she realizes something. Their bond isn't just connecting her to Luke. There's a third presence in that web of connections. Damaged, conflicted, wrapped in layers of pain and self-hatred. But there, the same presence she felt in her cell aboard the Executor, Vader, her father, the monster who destroyed Alderaan, the man who shares her blood. And she realizes he's not as far gone as everyone thinks. She reaches out with the Force, not with any skill or training, but with pure instinct, born of desperation, reaches past the mask and the machinery and the dark side corruption, straight into the core of the broken man underneath. And she makes him see what he's become. In Vader's mind, images flash unbidden, breaking through the walls he's built over 2 decades. He sees Padme as she was when they first met, young and beautiful, and full of hope. He sees her in the apartment on Coruscant, telling him she's pregnant with twins. He sees her on Mustafar, begging him to stop, to come back to her. He sees her dying, her last words about there being good in him still, about someone named Luke and Leia. And then he sees himself, truly sees himself through Leia's eyes. He sees the interrogation on the Death Star, sees Leia strapped to the torture device while he tears through her mind. He feels her pain, her terror, her desperate hope that someone will save her. He sees Alderaan, sees it from her perspective as the planet dies, sees billions of voices crying out and then falling silent, sees her face as she watches everything she's ever loved turn to dust because he wanted to break her spirit. He sees the children she and Luke could have been if he'd just stayed on the light, sees them growing up together on Naboo or Tatooine or anywhere, 2 parts of a whole the family Padme dreamed of, sees what he stole from them, from himself, from the galaxy, and he sees what he's doing right now. Luke, forced to fight his own father, while watching his sister die. Leia, burning under the Emperor's lightning because she dared to love her brother enough to try saving him. Both of them suffering for choices he made 20 years ago. Choices he's still making. Choices he could stop making right now. On the physical plane, Vader's lightsaber slows. Luke presses his advantage, driving him back with a flurry of strikes. But Vader isn't really defending anymore. His movements are mechanical, automatic. His mind elsewhere. He's seeing. He's understanding. And for the first time in 2 decades, Anakin Skywalker makes a choice based on love instead of fear. No more. The words come out distorted through the mask, but the meaning is clear. Vader turns away from Luke, his lightsaber coming up not to block his son, but to strike at the Emperor. The red blade flashes through the air, aimed at Palpatine's withered neck. The Emperor sees it coming a microsecond too late, his attention focused on torturing Leia. He cuts off the lightning and raises both hands, sending a torrent of Force lightning toward his wayward apprentice. The blue-white energy slams into Vader's chest, making his systems spark and short out. But Vader doesn't stop. He walks into the storm like a man walking into a strong wind, each step slower than the last, but still moving forward. His breathing becomes more labored, more erratic. Smoke pours from the gaps in his armor, but he doesn't stop. Luke rushes to his father's side, his lightsaber raised high. The green blade catches some of the lightning, redirecting it away from Vader's most critical systems. The 2 of them, father and son, advance on the Emperor together, step by painful step. Impossible! Palpatine's voice rises to a shriek. You cannot defy me! I am your master! I made you! You dare betray me after everything I've given you! And then Leia rises. Her clothes are smoking, her skin red and blistered from the lightning. Every movement sends waves of pain through her body, but her eyes are clear and focused, blazing with determination that no amount of torture could break. She picks up her blaster with hands that shake from more than just pain. 3 against 1 now. The 3 Skywalkers, standing together for the first time in their lives, facing down the monster who's terrorized the galaxy for decades. How do you like those odds, Emperor? Leia's voice is rough from screaming, but steady. Still think you've won? She takes aim, her finger tightening on the trigger. Palpatine sees the danger too late. He redirects his lightning, trying to strike Leia down before she can fire. But Luke is there, his lightsaber interposing itself between the lightning and his sister. The green blade absorbs the energy, glowing brighter and brighter. And Vader, his systems failing, his life support barely functioning, makes one final choice. He charges. His red lightsaber drops from nerveless fingers as he tackles Palpatine. His massive armored form crashing into the withered Sith Lord. They go down in a tangle of robes and machinery. Vader's hands closing around Palpatine's throat. "You should have killed me years ago." Vader's voice is barely a whisper. His systems failing. "Should have replaced me when you had the chance. Now you'll die, knowing your greatest weapon turned against you." Palpatine screams in fury and terror, lightning pouring from his hands directly into Vader's body. The armor glows white-hot. The smell of burning circuits and flesh fills the throne room. But Vader holds on, even as his strength fails, even as his systems shut down one by one. Luke and Leia move together without words. Luke grabs Palpatine's left arm, his lightsaber cutting through the Emperor's sleeve. Leia takes the right, her blaster pressed against the ancient Sith's temple. Together, they pull him away from Vader, and together, they end him. Luke's lightsaber pierces Palpatine's chest. Leia's blaster fires point-blank into his head. The Emperor's scream rises to an inhuman pitch, his body convulsing. Dark side energy explodes outward in a shockwave that throws all three Skywalkers back. When the light fades, Palpatine is still alive, but barely. His body is broken, his power spent. Vader crawls toward him, leaving a trail of sparks and oil. With the last of his strength, he grabs the Emperor's robes and drags him toward the reactor shaft. "No, you cannot. I am eternal. I am the dark side incarnate. You are nothing." Vader's voice is almost gone now, each word costing him more than the last. "You are just an old man who lived too long. And this is goodbye." He rolls, taking Palpatine with him. They fall together into the reactor shaft, the Emperor's scream echoing all the way down until it's cut off by a massive explosion far below. The throne room shakes. Alarms begin blaring throughout the station. Luke and Leia rush to the edge of the shaft, looking down into the glowing abyss. But there's no sign of either body, just flames and destruction. "Father!" Luke's voice breaks. "No." But then they hear it, a mechanical wheeze from behind them. They turn to see Vader pulling himself across the floor, his armor cracked and smoking, trailing components and wiring. He collapsed before going over the edge, used the last of his strength to grab onto something. Luke and Leia rush to him, each taking an arm, pulling him away from the shaft's edge. The station shakes again, more violently. The Emperor's death has triggered failsafes throughout the Death Star, and the entire structure is beginning to tear itself apart. Explosions echo from distant corridors. The lights flicker and die, replaced by emergency red lighting. "We need to get out of here. Now." Leia's voice is urgent. "This whole place is coming apart. Help me with him." They lift Vader between them, each taking one of his arms over their shoulders. The Dark Lord of the Sith, who once commanded fleets and terrified systems, reduced to dead weight between his children. They move toward the door, but Vader's hand comes up weakly, stopping them. "No, listen to me. His breathing is barely functioning, each word emerging between long pauses. Take the helmet off. I want to see you both with my own eyes. Father, we need to go. We'll get you to a medical frigate, get you fixed up. You can see us then. It's too late for that. Please, let me see my children. Luke's hands tremble as he reaches for the helmet. He finds the release mechanisms, presses them. The seals hiss open, and the helmet lifts away. Beneath it, Anakin Skywalker's face is pale and scarred, marked by decades of pain and dark side corruption. But his eyes, faded now and losing focus, are no longer yellow. They're blue. Luke. Anakin's voice is weak and raspy, damaged by years in the mask. Leia, my children, both of you together. I wish I could have watched you grow. Wish I could have been the father you deserved. You saved us. Leia's voice catches. In the end, you made the right choice. That has to count for something. Not enough. Will never be enough. But maybe it's a start. He coughs, blood bubbling at his lips. The station shakes again, more violently. A section of the ceiling collapses nearby, forcing them to duck. They need to move, now. But neither Luke nor Leia can bring themselves to leave their father. You were the monster who destroyed my world. Leia's words come out harsh, but tears stream down her face. You tortured me. You killed billions. You took everything from me. And I can never forgive that. I'll never forgive you for what you did. But you're also my father. And in this moment, right now, you chose us. You chose your children over your master. That means something. I know. Anakin manages a smile. It's twisted by his scars, but genuine. You're right to hate me. Right to never forgive. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Don't want it. Just want you to be better, to build something worth having. Promise me. We promise. Luke's tears fall onto his father's face. We'll make the galaxy into something you and Mother would be proud of. We'll make sure your choice mattered. Mother. Anakin's eyes drift closed for a moment, then open again. But he's not looking at Luke and Leia anymore. He's looking past them, at something they can't see. His expression softens, becomes peaceful. Padme, you're here. You came. I'm so sorry for everything. I destroyed us. Destroyed everything we built. But our children, look at them. They're perfect, strong, good, everything we hoped. Through the Force, Luke feels it. A presence, warm and loving and sad. He looks at Leia and knows she feels it too. Their mother is here, somehow watching over them, reaching across death to be present for this moment. I love you both. Anakin's voice is barely audible now. Always did. Even when I couldn't show it. Even when the darkness consumed me. Always loved you. Tell your mother. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her she was right. There was good in me. Just took our children to find it. She knows. Luke squeezes his father's hand. She's here. She can hear you. And she forgives you. I think she forgave you a long time ago. Anakin's eyes close. A final breath escapes his lips, barely audible over the chaos around them. And then he's still. The man who was Darth Vader, who terrorized a galaxy, who fell farther than anyone thought possible, dies with both his children holding him and his wife's spirit watching over them all. The station lurches violently. The floor beneath them cracks, sections beginning to separate. Luke and Leia look at each other, tears streaming down both their faces, feeling the same grief and the same desperate need to survive. We have to go. Now, what about? Leia looks down at Anakin's body. We can't just leave him here. We have to. He'd want us to live. Come on! They run. Behind them, the throne room begins to collapse. Massive sections of ceiling crashing down where they stood moments before. The Emperor's personal chambers, his laboratory with its Sith artifacts and forbidden knowledge, his meditation room where he plotted the galaxy's destruction, all of it consumed by fire and chaos. They race through corridors filled with fleeing Imperial personnel. Some try to stop them, recognizing Luke's Jedi robes or Leia's face. But most are too focused on their own survival to care. The whole station is a maze of destruction. Some sections still intact, while others have been reduced to twisted metal and flame. Turn left here, Leia shouts, her memory of the station's layout serving them even in chaos. The hangar bays should be 2 levels down. They find a functioning turbolift and cram inside, the doors closing just as a section of corridor collapses behind them. The lift descends, the view through its transparent walls showing the true scale of the destruction. Entire sections of the Death Star are peeling away, breaking off to tumble into Endor's atmosphere below. Through the viewport, they can see the space battle still raging. X-Wings and TIE fighters swirling in deadly ballet. Capital ships exchanging fire that lights up space like lightning. The Rebel fleet is fighting desperately, trying to destroy the station while Imperial ships struggle to maintain order. The turbolift deposits them 2 levels above the hangar. The rest of the way is blocked by collapsed corridors. They're forced to climb through maintenance shafts, squeezing through gaps barely large enough for a person. Leia's burns scream in protest with every movement, but she pushes through. There's no choice. Stop or die. Finally, they emerge into the hangar bay. Luke's Imperial shuttle sits where he left it, miraculously undamaged amidst the chaos. They sprint for it, their feet pounding on the deck plates. Around them, other ships are launching in a panic, some piloted by competent flight officers, others by terrified functionaries who barely know how to fly. One transport crashes on takeoff, smashing into a wall and exploding. Another makes it 5 meters off the deck before a falling support beam crushes it. But Luke and Leia reach their shuttle. Luke leaps into the pilot's seat while Leia takes co-pilot, her hands flying over the startup sequences. Behind them, the hangar bay door begins to close, some automated system trying to contain the damage. Hurry! We've got maybe 10 seconds before we're trapped. The engines whine to life. Luke doesn't wait for the usual warm-up procedures, just engages the repulsors and lifts off. The shuttle shoots forward, accelerating hard. The hangar door continues closing, the gap narrowing by the second. They're not going to make it. The math doesn't work. The shuttle is too slow, the door closing too fast. Leia reaches out with the Force, not knowing what she's doing, but knowing she has to do something. She feels the door's mechanism, feels the strain on its motors, and she pushes. The door slows. Not much, just a fraction of its speed. But it's enough. The shuttle shoots through the gap with centimeters to spare, the upper hull scraping against the closing door with a sound like tearing metal. And then they're free, flying into the maelstrom of the space battle. Debris fills space around them. Pieces of the Death Star mixing with destroyed fighters and chunks of shattered capital ships. Luke pilots by instinct, dodging and weaving, trusting the Force to guide him through gaps that shouldn't exist. A chunk of superstructure the size of a Corvette tumbles past, missing them by meters. A flight of TIE fighters screams by, not even noticing them in the chaos. And then they see it. The Death Star's reactor, exposed by the station's disintegration, glowing brighter and brighter. Lando's voice crackles over the comm. "I'm going in. If I don't make it, tell everyone I died doing something incredibly brave and handsome." "Lando, wait." Leia grabs the comm. "We're still here, we just got out." "Leia? Luke? What are you still doing on this thing? Get clear. Now, this whole station's about to blow." "We're trying." Luke yanks the controls, sending the shuttle into a spiraling dive that avoids 3 separate collisions. "Just make your run. We'll be fine." They won't be fine. The math is against them again. Even at maximum speed, they can't get clear of the blast radius before Lando's torpedoes hit the reactor. They're going to die here, in sight of victory, seconds away from survival. Unless. Luke looks at Leia. She looks back, and without words, through their bond, they understand. Together, they reach out with the Force in unison, their powers combining and amplifying. They don't try to speed up the shuttle. That's impossible. Instead, they push everything else away. Debris that would have smashed into them suddenly veers off course. Energy fields that would have fried their systems dissipate. Even space itself seems to bend around them, creating a corridor of safety through the chaos. Behind them, Lando's torpedoes hit their mark. The Death Star's reactor goes critical. For a moment, just a moment, it looks like a new sun has been born. Then the explosion rips outward, consuming everything in its path. The shockwave catches the shuttle despite their best efforts. They're thrown end over end, spinning wildly. Luke fights for control, but the shuttle's not responding. Systems are failing. The hull is breaching. They're going to break apart. Leia's hands join his on the controls. Her limited Force training combines with his years of experience. Somehow, together, they regain control. The shuttle levels out, engines coughing but functional, and ahead of them, blessedly clear, is open space. They made it. Against all odds, despite everything, they survived. Luke lets out a whoop of pure relief. Leia laughs, the sound half hysterical. They look at each other, covered in ash and blood and tears, and burst into simultaneous laughter and sobbing. Behind them, the Death Star is gone. The Emperor is dead. Darth Vader is dead. The Empire's most powerful weapon and most feared enforcers, destroyed in a single battle. The Imperial fleet, leaderless and shocked, begins to break apart. Some ships flee to hyperspace. Others try to continue the fight. But their coordination is gone. The rebellion has won. The galaxy is free. But Luke and Leia feel no triumph yet, just exhaustion and grief, and the strange emptiness of survival when so many died. Through the Force, Luke feels Obi-Wan's presence, proud and sad, feels Yoda's approval, tinged with sorrow for what had to happen, and he feels his mother, Padme, her presence like a gentle hand on his shoulder. Well done, my son, both of you. I'm so proud of the people you've become. The comm crackles to life. Luke! Leia! Do you copy? This is Red Leader. We've got you on sensors. Follow our wing markers down to the surface. Han's waiting for you on Endor. The mention of Han breaks through Leia's shock. Han, he's alive. He made it. They follow the X-Wings down through Endor's atmosphere. Below, they can see the shield generator complex, now a smoking ruin. Han's shuttle sits in a clearing nearby, surrounded by Ewoks who are already celebrating. Luke lands their damaged shuttle as gently as he can. When the ramp lowers and they emerge, squinting in Endor's bright sunlight, Han is waiting. He takes one look at Leia, at her burned skin and tattered clothes and exhausted face, and runs to her. She collapses into his arms, finally allowing herself to feel safe. You made it. Han's voice is rough with emotion. I knew you would. You're too stubborn to die. Had to. Somebody needs to keep you out of trouble. Han holds her tight, then looks at Luke over her shoulder. The kid? Luke steps off the ramp, looking 10 years older than when he left. He's gone. Father's gone. He saved us, Han. At the end, he chose us over Palpatine, chose to be Anakin Skywalker again instead of Darth Vader. And then he died, helping us escape. Han nods slowly, understanding. That's something, I guess. That's more than anyone expected from him. Doesn't make up for what he did, but it's something. They stand together in the afternoon sun, 3 survivors of an impossible war. Around them, rebel soldiers are emerging from the forest. Ewoks are climbing down from the trees, and news of the Emperor's death is spreading through the fleet. Victory? They won, but the cost sits heavy on all their hearts. We need to build a pyre. Luke's voice is quiet. For Father, he deserves that much. They spend the rest of the day gathering wood from the forest. By the time night falls, they've constructed a massive funeral pyre. Other rebels help, though many don't know who they're honoring. Those who do know keep quiet, respecting Luke and Leia's grief. When the pyre is ready, they realize they have a problem. Anakin's body is still on the Death Star, consumed in the explosion. There's nothing to burn, so instead, they burn his armor. The twisted helmet, recovered from the throne room by a salvage team. His lightsaber, the blade that terrorized a generation. Pieces of his suit, fragments of the man he became. It will have to be enough. As the flames rise into Endor's night sky, Luke and Leia stand together, watching. Mon Mothma, Admiral Akbar, and other rebellion leaders stand respectfully distant, giving the twins space for their grief. Around them, Ewoks observe from the trees, their large eyes reflecting the firelight. The Force feels different now, lighter somehow, as if a great weight has been lifted from the galaxy. Luke closes his eyes and reaches out, feeling the presences gathering. Obi-Wan, his first teacher, proud and sad. Yoda, wise and understanding. and between them, two figures materializing in the Force, Anakin Skywalker, looking young and whole and at peace for the first time in decades. And beside him, Padme Amidala, beautiful and luminous, taking his hand. Luke opens his eyes and looks at Leia. He doesn't have to explain. She feels it too. Their parents, together again in death as they couldn't be in life, watching over their children, proud of what they've become. Around them, the celebration is beginning. Music rises from the Ewok village. Rebel soldiers embrace, crying and laughing in equal measure. Someone starts singing a victory song, and others join in. But Luke and Leia remain by the fire until it burns down to embers. What do we do now? Leia's voice is barely audible over the celebration. We build something better, something worthy of the price that was paid. And we tell the truth about who we are, about who our father was, both the good and the evil. The galaxy deserves to know. That won't be easy. People will be angry. Some will reject us. Some will say we're tainted by his crimes. Let them. Democracy means people get to choose, even when they choose wrong. I won't hide who I am anymore. I'm done with secrets, with shame. I'm Leia Skywalker Organa, daughter of Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala. And if people can't accept that, then they don't deserve my service. Luke takes her hand. Then I'm with you. Whatever comes, whatever they say, we face it together. Brothers and sisters, always. They return to the celebration, and Han immediately pulls Leia into a dance. She goes willingly, letting the music and movement drive away the darkness for a moment. Luke watches them, smiling, feeling joy through their bond as Leia allows herself to celebrate. The galaxy has a future. They have a future. Tomorrow they'll begin the hard work of building a new government. Tomorrow they'll face the political fallout of their heritage. Tomorrow they'll begin grieving properly for everyone they lost. But tonight, they celebrate. Tonight, they're alive, and the Empire is broken, and hope has returned to the galaxy. A week passes in a blur of debriefings, medical treatments, and tentative celebrations. The rebel fleet gathers at Sullust, and representatives from across the galaxy begin arriving. It's time to begin building something new. Time to transform the rebellion into a republic. Mon Mothma calls an emergency session of the Alliance Council. Representatives from dozens of systems crowd into the command center aboard Home One. The air buzzes with excitement and tension. They've won, but now comes the harder part, deciding what they've won for. Before we begin planning our new government, there is a matter that must be addressed. Mon Mothma's voice cuts through the chatter. Princess Leia has requested time to make a statement. It is, she assures me, relevant to our future. Leia stands, feeling hundreds of eyes on her. She's prepared a speech, worked on it for days with input from Luke and Han. But when she opens her mouth, the prepared words seem hollow. So she sets aside the datapad and speaks from the heart. My name is Leia Organa. I was raised on Alderaan by Bail and Breha Organa, two of the greatest leaders this galaxy has ever known. They taught me that power is responsibility, that freedom requires sacrifice. That leadership means service, not domination. Everything I am, everything I believe, I learned from them. They were my parents in every way that matters. The room is silent, waiting. But they were not my biological parents. I was adopted as an infant, hidden from the Empire for my protection. My birth mother was Padme Amidala, Senator of Naboo, one of the last defenders of democracy before the Empire rose. The murmurs begin, but Leia pushes forward. And my father, my biological father, was Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi Knight who fell to the dark side and became Darth Vader. The room erupts. Shouts of outrage, disbelief, horror. Representatives leap to their feet, some calling for her arrest, others simply staring in shock. Mon Mothma lets it continue for a moment, then calls for order. Princess Leia has not finished. You will extend her the courtesy of listening. My brother is Luke Skywalker. Leia's voice rises above the chaos. The man who destroyed the first Death Star. The Jedi who helped me infiltrate the Emperor's throne room. Together, we confronted our father. And in the end, he chose to save us. Chose to turn against the Emperor. He died, helping us destroy the Death Star and end Palpatine's reign. A Bothan representative stands, his fur bristling with agitation. You are the daughter of the man who murdered billions, who destroyed entire systems, who tortured countless innocents. How can we trust you? How can we allow you anywhere near power? I understand your fear. Leia meets his eyes steadily. I share it. Every single day, I wake up knowing I carry the blood of a monster. Knowing that if circumstances had been different, I might have become like him. That darkness exists in me, in my genes, in my very nature. So every day, I have to choose. Choose to serve instead of dominate. To build instead of destroy. To protect freedom instead of crushing it. That's what I'm asking from all of you. Not blind trust. Not forgiveness for my father's crimes. Just the chance to prove through my actions that I am not him. A woman from Corellia speaks up, but the stain remains. The blood tie. Every decision you make will be questioned. Every policy you support will be examined for signs of imperial thinking. How can you lead effectively when half the galaxy will always wonder if you're secretly working to restore your father's empire? Then, they should watch me. They should question me. They should demand transparency and accountability. That's what democracy is supposed to be. Not blind faith in leaders, but constant vigilance. If my heritage means people pay closer attention to what I do, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe every leader should be subject to that level of scrutiny. An older man, a representative from Chandrila, rises. I served with your mother. Padme Amidala was my colleague in the Senate. She fought tirelessly against Palpatine's consolidation of power. When she died, I thought her legacy died with her. But I see it now, in you. You have her fire, her refusal to accept injustice. And if she trusted Anakin Skywalker enough to love him, to bear his children, perhaps that says something about the man he was before he fell. A murmur of agreement ripples through some of the representatives, though others still look hostile. Admiral Akbar's gravelly voice cuts through. The princess has bled for our cause, sacrificed her world, her family, her safety. She has proven herself time and again. I propose we judge her by her actions, not her parentage. But Aduro's representative shakes his head. This is too important to decide hastily. The perception problem alone could undermine everything we're trying to build. Systems might refuse to join a republic led by Vader's daughter. Others might break away if she remains in power. We need to address this properly. Mon Mothma nods. I agree. Therefore, I propose a formal vote. Not just among us, but a public referendum across all Alliance systems. Let the people decide whether Princess Leia Organa should continue in a position of leadership. Let democracy answer this question. Not political maneuvering. The motion passes by a narrow margin. And so begins the most difficult campaign of Leia's life. Not a campaign for office, but a campaign for her right to exist in public life at all. Over the next month, as the new republic begins to take shape, Leia's parentage becomes the most debated topic in the galaxy. Holonet channels run constant coverage. Some paint her as a tragic figure, a victim of circumstance trying to overcome her father's legacy. Others portray her as a security threat, a potential Manchurian candidate who might be activated at any moment to restore imperial rule. Luke stands by her publicly, appearing at rallies across multiple systems. He speaks passionately about their father's redemption, about the choice Anakin made at the end. But his words cut both ways. Some find them moving, proof that even the darkest souls can find light. Others see them as evidence that the Skywalker twins are dangerously naive about the nature of evil. Han refuses to leave Leia's side, his fierce loyalty winning some hearts. When reporters ask him how he can trust Vader's daughter, his response becomes legendary. I trust Leia with my life. Trusted her before I knew who her father was. Trust her now. If you can't see that she's not him, you're not paying attention. But the opposition is fierce and organized. A coalition of systems that suffered most under Imperial rule band together, led by a charismatic Bothan politician named Koth Melan. They argue passionately that allowing Vader's daughter into power sends a terrible message, that it tells the galaxy some crimes are forgivable if you have the right connections. Leia doesn't campaign for herself, doesn't give speeches defending her position or attacking her critics. Instead, she works. She negotiates treaties with neutral systems, bringing worlds into the new Republic fold. She oversees reconstruction efforts on devastated planets. She helps draft the new Republic Charter, including provisions for transparency and accountability that would apply especially to herself. She lets her actions speak, and slowly, gradually, opinion begins to shift. Not everyone, not even a majority at first, but enough. People notice that she doesn't ask for special treatment, doesn't hide behind her heritage. They notice that she works harder than anyone else, holds herself to higher standards, refuses to take credit for victories while accepting blame for failures. They notice she's not Vader. 3 weeks into the campaign, an assassination attempt occurs. Leia is visiting a refugee camp on Ryloth when a gunman opens fire. 3 shots, perfectly placed, any one of which should have killed her. But Luke, standing beside her, deflects the first 2 with his lightsaber. And Leia herself, acting on instinct, uses the Force to nudge the 3rd shot aside. It grazes her arm instead of piercing her heart. The gunman is captured. Under questioning, He admits he lost his entire family when Vader destroyed a transport convoy. He saw Leia as an extension of Vader, a target for revenge. The incident could have turned more people against her. Instead, something unexpected happens. The refugee camp's residents, many of whom had been ambivalent about her visit, surround her protectively. They'd watched her spend the day helping distribute supplies, listening to stories of loss and trauma, promising to do better. They'd seen her treat them not as victims to be pitied, but as people to be respected. One woman, a Twi'lek who lost her children to imperial slavery, makes a statement to the press that goes viral. "Vader destroyed my family. But this woman, his daughter, she chose different. She chose us. If we punish her for her father's crimes, we're no better than the empire that punished entire families for one person's rebellion." The tide begins to turn. More voices speak up in Leia's favor, not excusing Vader, never that, but recognizing that Leia is not her father, that she deserves to be judged by her choices. The night before the vote, Leia can't sleep. She stands in her temporary quarters on Chandrila, looking out at the new Senate building under construction. Han finds her there. "You ready for tomorrow?" "As ready as I'll ever be. If they reject me, I'll accept it. I'll step down and find another way to serve. But you don't want to. No, I don't want to. I've spent my entire adult life fighting for freedom, building this movement. The idea of being forced out because of who my father was, it hurts. But that's democracy. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes the people choose wrong. Doesn't mean we abandon the system." Han wraps his arms around her from behind. "This is why I love you. Most people would be ranting about injustice or plotting ways to fight back. You just accept it because it's the right thing to do. I might rant a little if they vote against me. Give you permission, but only a little. The results come in the next day. The vote is conducted across hundreds of worlds, billions of beings making their choice. The returns come in slowly, system by system. Some are overwhelmingly against Leia. Alderaan's survivors, scattered across the galaxy, split almost evenly. Some see her as the last living piece of their world. Others see her as bearing the blood of their destroyer. By midday, the vote is too close to call. 50.2% in favor, 49.8% against, with returns still coming in from the outer rim. Luke finds Leia in a garden, meditating to calm her nerves. "You're supposed to be watching the returns. What's the point? Either they choose me or they don't. Watching the numbers tick by doesn't change anything." He sits beside her. Through their bond, he can feel her anxiety despite her calm exterior. "You know, Father used to hate democracy. Thought it was inefficient, messy, slow. Said one strong leader could do more than 1,000 arguing politicians. And he was right about one thing. Democracy is messy, but that's why it works. Because it forces us to account for everyone's views, everyone's pain. Even when it's slow, even when it's frustrating, it's better than one person deciding for everyone." Leia opens her eyes. "When did you get so wise?" "I've been studying Jedi philosophy. Turns out, Yoda had a lot to say about government. Most of it was cryptic and backwards, but the core message was sound. The Force flows through all living things. Democracy respects that. tyranny doesn't. Mon Mothma finds them an hour later. The final returns are in. Leia stands, her face composed despite the trembling in her hands. And 52% in favor, 48% against. It's not a mandate. A lot of people still don't trust you. But enough do. You've won the right to continue serving. Leia nods, slowly, processing. That afternoon, she addresses the New Republic from a balcony overlooking the construction site where the Senate building is rising. Thousands gather below. Billions watch across the galaxy. She doesn't celebrate, doesn't claim victory. To those who voted for me, thank you. I will work every day to prove worthy of your trust. I will hold myself to the highest standards and accept accountability for my actions. To those who voted against me, I understand. I don't ask you to forget my father's crimes or to trust me blindly. I ask only for the chance to prove through my actions that I am not him, that I choose differently every day. We are building something new here, a republic, where people are judged by their choices, not their bloodlines, where freedom matters more than security, where hope is stronger than fear. My father forgot these truths. He chose power over people, control over compassion. He destroyed worlds in pursuit of an illusion of safety. I will not make his mistakes. And if I do, if I ever start down that path, I expect every one of you to stop me. That's what democracy means. Leaders who are accountable, citizens who remain vigilant, power that flows from the people, not from force lightning or fear. The speech resonates across the galaxy. Even many who voted against her admit it strikes the right tone. Over the following months, more systems join the New Republic. Slowly, the galaxy begins to heal, but the road is not smooth. 3 months after the vote, Imperial holdouts launch a coordinated terrorist attack across multiple systems. Bombs detonate in civilian centers, killing thousands. The New Republic Security Force traces the attacks to an Imperial Moff who's established a stronghold in the unknown regions. Leia proposes a military strike to eliminate the threat. The Senate debates for days. Some support her, arguing they cannot allow terrorism to go unpunished. But others argue against it. A Rhodian senator stands. How convenient that the daughter of Vader proposes military action against Imperial holdouts. How do we know this isn't a ploy to consolidate power, to build up the military for some future coup? Leia keeps her temper through sheer force of will. Senator, thousands of civilians died in these attacks. More will die if we don't act. This isn't about power. It's about protecting our citizens. But the perception is there, and perception matters in politics. The vote barely passes, and even then, some systems threaten to leave the Republic over it. Leia leads the strike personally, determined to prove this isn't about power but about justice. The mission succeeds. The Imperial Moff is captured, his base destroyed. But the political cost is high. For weeks afterward, Leia faces calls to resign. Accusations that she's becoming like her father. Only her continued transparency, her willingness to be questioned by Senate committees, her insistence on being held accountable prevents a full crisis. Han watches her testify before yet another committee and shakes his head. This is insane. You just saved thousands of lives and they're treating you like a criminal. This is democracy. Sometimes it's messy and unfair, but it's better than the alternative. You're a better person than I am. I'd tell them all to go to hell. That's why I'm the politician and you're the pilot. But the strain is showing. Leia works 18-hour days, trying to be everything to everyone, trying to prove she's worthy of the trust placed in her. She loses weight, develops stress headaches, snaps at people she cares about. It's Luke who finally forces her to stop. You're going to burn out at this rate. And then what? Then all your critics will be proven right that you couldn't handle the pressure. You need to take care of yourself, Leia. I can't. Not when there's so much work to do. Not when people are still questioning whether I deserve to be here. Those people will always question. You could work yourself to death and they still wouldn't be satisfied. But the people who believe in you, who voted for you, they need you to be healthy. They need you to lead, not martyr yourself. He's right. She knows he's right. So she starts delegating more, trusting others to handle tasks she'd been trying to do herself. Starts sleeping more than 4 hours a night. Starts actually eating meals instead of grabbing rations between meetings. And slowly, she finds a balance. A year after the Battle of Endor, Leia and Han marry in a simple ceremony on Chandrila. Luke performs the blessing, his Jedi robes replaced with simpler clothes for the occasion. Mon Mothma attends, as do Admiral Akbar and other rebellion veterans. It's a small wedding, deliberately low-key. But when images spread across the galaxy, people see something important. They see Leia Organa, daughter of Darth Vader, choosing love over ambition, choosing a scoundrel and smuggler over political calculation, choosing to build a family despite the risk, despite knowing her father's legacy might affect her children. It humanizes her in a way 1,000 speeches couldn't. 2 years later, Leia gives birth to a son. She and Han name him Ben, after Obi-Wan Kenobi. The boy shows signs of Force sensitivity almost immediately, his presence bright in the Force. Luke visits often, fascinated by his nephew's potential. One evening, Luke holds Ben while the infant gurgles happily. He's strong in the Force, stronger than I was at his age, might even be stronger than Father. That terrifies me. Why? Because of what happened to Father. He was powerful and it destroyed him. What if Ben follows the same path? Luke meets her eyes. Then we make sure he doesn't. We teach him balance. We don't hide emotions from him the way the old Jedi did. We let him feel anger and fear, but we also teach him how to process those feelings. We show him that power is responsibility, not a right. He won't be like Vader because he'll have something Vader didn't, a family that loves him without conditions. Parents who won't abandon him when things get hard. The truth about his grandfather, both good and evil, so he can learn from those mistakes. Leia holds her son close. I hope you're right. I hope our love is enough to keep him from the darkness. But I see it sometimes in his eyes, that intensity, that hunger for more, and I'm afraid. Fear is natural. It's what we do with fear that matters. Father, let it consume him, turned it into hatred and violence. But you channel your fear into action, into making sure the things you're afraid of don't happen. That's the difference. That's what you'll teach Ben. 5 years after Endor, Luke's Jedi Academy is thriving. He's trained a dozen students, young Force sensitives from across the galaxy learning to use their abilities. But his teachings are different from the old Jedi Order. He allows attachments, encourages his students to maintain connections with their families. He teaches them about the dark side, not as something to fear and suppress, but as something to understand and transcend. And he teaches them about Anakin Skywalker. Every new student hears the story. The promising Jedi who saved countless lives. The husband and father who feared loss so much. He destroyed everything he loved. The Sith Lord, who terrorized the galaxy for decades. And the man who, at the end, chose love over power. It's a complicated story. There are no easy answers, no clear morals, except that choices matter and redemption is possible even in the darkest moments. Some students struggle with it. How do they trust their teacher when he speaks so openly about being Vader's son? How do they trust themselves when they learn that even a great Jedi can fall? But Luke is patient. He shares his own struggles, his own temptations. The moment on the Death Star, when he nearly killed Vader in hatred. The times since when he's been angry or afraid or tempted to use his power to force his will on others. He teaches them that being a Jedi isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing every day to serve the light. 10 years after the Battle of Endor, the New Republic holds a memorial dedication on Chandrila. It's a massive monument listing every known victim of Imperial atrocities. Billions of names carved into black stone, representing lives stolen by tyranny. At the center stands a series of statues. Bail Organa, representing the political leaders who fought tyranny. Mon Mothma, still alive and serving as Chancellor, representing the rebellion's military leaders. And Anakin Skywalker. The Anakin statue is controversial from the moment it's proposed. Half the Senate votes against its inclusion. But Leia insists. She stands before the Senate and makes her case. My father was a monster who committed unspeakable crimes, but he was also a victim. A child who was enslaved, freed, and then manipulated by forces he wasn't equipped to handle. A young man who feared loss so much, he embraced evil to prevent it. A Sith Lord who spent 2 decades serving tyranny before, at the last possible moment, choosing different. If we only remember the monster, we forget an important truth. Anyone can fall. Good people, with good intentions, can become the villains of their own stories if they let fear and hatred consume them. But if we remember all of it, the good and the evil, the hero and the monster, the father who died saving his children, then we learn something valuable. We learn that redemption is possible, that it's never too late to choose differently, that our worst mistakes don't have to define us. The statue goes up. Unlike the others, which show their subjects in heroic poses, Anakin's statue shows him kneeling. His head is bowed, his hands open in supplication. The inscription reads, Anakin Skywalker, Jedi Knight, Sith Lord, Father, Reminder. Reminder of what? People ask. Reminder that heroism and villainy exist in all of us, that every day we choose which we become. On the monument's dedication day, Leia stands before it with Luke, Han, and young Ben. Her son stares up at the statue of the grandfather he never knew. Mama, Was he really that bad? Yes, he did terrible things. Things that can never be forgiven or forgotten. Then why do we honor him? We're not honoring him, sweetheart. We're remembering him, all of him, the good and the bad, so that we learn from his mistakes and try to be better. Ben considers this. When I grow up, will I be bad like him? Not if you choose to be good. And that's a choice you'll make every day for the rest of your life. Will you help me? Always. Luke adds his own voice. That's what family does. We help each other choose the light. 20 years after the Battle of Endor, Leia Organa Solo stands before the Galactic Senate as Chief of State. She's older now, her hair showing streaks of gray. The stress of 2 decades of leadership has lined her face, but her voice is still strong, her conviction unshaken. Today, I'm announcing my retirement from public office. The declaration sends shockwaves through the chamber, but Leia continues calmly. I've served the New Republic for 20 years. I've given everything I have to building a government worthy of the sacrifices made to create it. But I'm tired. And more importantly, I'm starting to become what I always fought against. I catch myself thinking that I know better than the Senate, that my experience and knowledge make my judgment superior, that if people would just listen to me, I could fix things. She pauses, letting that sink in. This is how tyranny begins. Not with evil intentions, but with the certainty that you're right. My father fell because he believed he knew what was best for the galaxy. I won't make that mistake. So I'm stepping down, not because I'm forced to, not because of scandal or failure, but because I choose to. Because democracy means accepting that others have the right to lead, to make different choices, even to make mistakes. There's stunned silence. Then, slowly, applause begins. It grows until the entire Senate is standing, clapping for a leader who's walking away from power voluntarily, something rare in galactic history. In the months that follow, Leia doesn't fade away. She writes, publishes her memoirs with complete honesty about her heritage and struggles. She teaches at Luke's Jedi Academy, not force techniques but political philosophy and leadership. She speaks at universities across the galaxy about democracy, about accountability, about the choices that define us. And she spends time with her family. Han, still flying but taking shorter runs. Ben, now a young man training seriously at Luke's academy. She watches him grow, sees hints of Anakin's intensity and passion, but also sees him make different choices, better choices. On the 30th anniversary of the Battle of Endor, Luke and Leia return to Endor together. They stand in the clearing where they burned their father's armor, now marked with a simple stone. 3 decades have passed. The galaxy has changed beyond recognition. The New Republic is stable, democratic, growing stronger each year. Imperial holdouts still exist, but are weak and scattered. Hope has returned. Luke speaks first. Do you ever regret it? The way things turned out? Some days, I think about what might have happened if Father had turned sooner, if he'd been there to help build the Republic instead of just dying at its birth. But then I think about who I became because of his choices. I learned to fight tyranny because I saw what it did. I learned to value freedom because I watched it being stolen. In a strange way, his evil made me who I am. And you're okay with that? I have to be. The past is fixed. I can't change who my father was or what he did. I can only control who I am and what I do. And every day, I choose to be better than he was. That's enough. That has to be enough. They stand in silence, feeling the force flowing through the forest around them. And for a moment, just a moment, they sense presences, their parents, watching from whatever lies beyond, proud of their children, proud of the galaxy they helped save. 40 years after the Battle of Endor, Leia Organa Solo passes away peacefully in her sleep. She's 72, having lived longer than her mother, but not as long as she'd hoped. The galaxy mourns. Trillions watch the funeral procession on Chandrila. Beings from every species, every system, every walk of life, paying respects to a leader who shaped the modern galaxy. The eulogies praise her courage, her integrity, her refusal to be defined by her father's crimes. Luke delivers the main address. My sister spent her entire life proving that we are not our parentage, that we are not our circumstances, that we are, above all, our choices. She could have hidden her heritage, could have lied about who her father was, but she chose truth. She could have embraced bitterness, could have let her father's evil consume her with hatred, but she chose hope. She could have sought power, could have used her family name and her abilities to dominate, but she chose service. Every day, for 72 years, Leia Organa chose to be better than her worst moments, chose light over darkness, chose freedom over control, chose love over fear. That is her legacy, not her father's, hers. They bury her on Alderaan, not the Alderaan that was destroyed, but New Alderaan, the colony world where survivors and their descendants have built a new home. The marker is simple: Leia Organa, daughter, sister, wife, mother, leader, free. 50 years after the Battle of Endor, Luke Skywalker is the last of the original heroes. Han died 5 years earlier. Old age finally catching the smuggler who dodged death for so long. Most of the other rebellion leaders are gone. The galaxy they fought for has moved on, facing new challenges, new threats, new opportunities. But the lessons remain. The New Republic is stronger than the old ever was because it learned from failure. It builds accountability into its structures, demands transparency from its leaders, empowers citizens to question authority. It's not perfect. Nothing built by mortal beings ever is, but it's better. Ben Solo leads Luke's Jedi Order now, and he teaches his students what his mother and uncle taught him. That power is responsibility. That darkness exists in everyone. That every day we choose who we become. When young Jedi ask about Darth Vader, Ben doesn't shy away from the truth. He tells them about the monster his grandfather became, about the billions who died by his hand, about the tyranny he enforced. But he also tells them about the choice at the end, about love proving stronger than hate, about redemption being possible even in the darkest hour. And he tells them about his mother, about how she carried her father's legacy with grace and strength, about how she proved that we are not defined by our bloodlines, but by our choices. Luke spends his final years on Ahch-To, the ancient Jedi homeworld. He's old now, his body failing but his mind clear. He meditates daily, feeling the Force flow through him. Sensing the galaxy he helped save thriving in ways he never imagined. One evening, as twin moons rise over the endless ocean, Luke feels presences gather around him. Obi-Wan and Yoda, his teachers, his father, Anakin, and his mother, Padme, and Leia, his sister, his twin, the other half of his soul. They're waiting for him. It's time. Luke takes a final breath and lets go. His body fades, becoming one with the Force. But his presence remains, joining the others who watch over the galaxy. And in the Force, freed from the limitations of physical form, the Skywalker family is finally complete. Anakin embraces the children he barely knew in life. Pride and sorrow mixing in equal measure. Padme holds them all, the family she died bringing into the world. And they watch as the galaxy they helped save continues to grow, to change, to become something better. That's the legacy. Not power or conquest or dominion, but the simple truth that anyone can change, anyone can choose better, anyone can build something worth having, one choice at a time, one day at a time, one person at a time, until the whole galaxy shines with light. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.